Hey everybody, we got some awesome forehand questions which we're going to answer right now. All three of us are going to take a little bit different topics and dive right in. If you've got some questions about any part of the game that you'd like us to answer, just leave them right below. Let's get right to the forehand questions. Yanis wrote in and asked, at the contact moment, does the center of our chest face the ball or the target? Really good question, and the short answer is the target. If your body is still facing the ball at contact, then it means that it hasn't led the way. Your body should ideally initiate the forward motion of your swing on your forehand ground stroke. If it doesn't, if your arm initiates the swing, then it ends up being a really weak, kind of pushy shot. And don't be fooled. A lot of players think they're using their body really well because they finish with their body facing forward towards the target, but in real time it looks something like this, where they hit and then they turn forwards after. And I segmented it on purpose to make it really obvious, but some players are really good at kind of fooling themselves and frankly fooling a lot of other coaches, where they'll hit and then turn forwards afterwards. And so they feel like they're turning their body, and they are, but the timing is completely backwards. Rather than the dog wagging the tail is wagging the dog, because the order of operations is totally out of sync. So what should happen is your body and your hips should initiate and lead the forward swing, and then your arm should come along for the ride. And that allows your arm to be really loose and relaxed. And I recommend you start practicing this by kind of exaggerating it and segmenting it, with your hips and chest going first and really kind of reaching a parallel point before your racket even comes forwards. Then come forward and find your imaginary contact point and follow through. And then start practicing a couple of smooth shadow swings with your body leading, your arm following, and then eventually try dropping a ball and practice your body leading first. So it's body and then arm after. If you record yourself on video, you'll probably be surprised. Most players are surprised to find that they're using their arm much more than they should be, and their body is not nearly as active as it should be. So practice this short, simple little drill, get a feel for your body leading, and record yourself on video to find out exactly how your body is coordinating together, and you'll be able to hit much more effortless, powerful shots.
I often have a lot of trouble hitting topspin shots and end up hitting my shots very flat, making my forehand unreliable. Do you have any tips that could help me with this issue? Okay, to answer your question, there's a few drills and progressions that you can do that are really important to help you work on your topspin. So the first one is going to be actually working on your swing path, because the swing path and the racket face are going to dictate you being able to generate topspin on the ball. The more lateral swing path you have, the more straight through you have, the more drive you're going to have on the ball, or the flatter the ball is going to be. The more vertical your swing path is, the more topspin you're going to create and the more height you're going to get on the ball. So there's a really good drill called 10-5-1. And if you've watched a lot of our content, you've seen some of us do this, but it is a drill where you're gonna start with the 10-foot ball, and then you're gonna go to the 5-foot ball, and then you're gonna go to the 1-foot ball. Okay, so to generate a 10-foot ball, you wanna see the height over the net, so you're gonna have a very vertical swing path. Okay, so I'm going up and trying to really get that height on the ball. So I'm doing a full swing, really working on that vertical swing path. And your goal would be for the ball to land between the service line and the baseline. Okay, if your ball is going up really high, like this, then that probably means your racket face is open. You still want your racket face to be vertical at contact. You just want your swing path to be more vertical to get that 10-foot. Now when I'm working on topspin of the 5-foot ball, which is the rally ball, I'm gonna be not quite as vertical on the ball, but I'm gonna be right in here, okay? I'm gonna have that ball landing right between the service line and, oh, that was a little short, right between the service line and the baseline, and working on that rally ball to work on that topspin as well. And the last one is getting the drive, the 1-foot ball. So that ball's gonna have a lot more drive on the ball, a lot flatter. So by doing this 1, 5, and 10, you're really gonna be able to understand how to generate that topspin by your vertical swing path. So if I'm going from a 1-foot ball, which is flat and straight, to a 10-foot ball, which is heavy topspin and higher, I'm gonna be able to really see that ball spinning in the air. So the more you work on these differences in height and spin, the more you're gonna be able to feel the topspin on your strings.
Abstract Fitness asks, I hit a Western grip forehand, and anytime I try to run around my backhand to hit a forehand inside out, it's hard. One thing it sounds like is because maybe you have a Western grip that you're not actually creating enough time to get it away from the ball. So what you can do is really make sure, let me move the basket here. And I personally don't use a Western grip, but I can definitely see how this could be an issue. Because your grip is kind of way around the racket, what happens is you need a little bit more time to get your racket to the contact point. And so a lot of times, if let's say you had an Eastern grip, you don't need as much time. So a lot of times with the Western grip, you have to prepare a little bit earlier, make sure you give yourself enough time. So the trick is making sure that when you do your unit turn with your Western grip, and that you do your unit turn early enough that you're in the unit turn, so by the time you get there to hit your inside out forehand, you can swing. I have a feeling what's happening is that you're running around, but you can tell as I'm running I haven't done a unit turn, and then when you try to get there, you're trying to do the entire swing and you don't have time. So again, steps. We want to make sure a split step, unit turn completely instead of having the racket here. By doing this unit turn, when I get there, half my swing is already done, and even with your grip, you should be able to create the time and distance away from the ball so you have really smooth contact. Now again, it does depend on the type of ball you're receiving, because if you get a ball that's still really low, it's going to be a little bit harder with your Western grip. More than likely, you're going to like balls a little bit higher with that Western grip. Keep that in mind to have the correct spacing, also based on the ball height and spin that it has on it.